Hello everybody, and we're back with another episode of Dark Souls. I almost said Dark Souls 2 because, I'm so excited for Dark Souls 2 coming out earlier next year. So, like I said last episode, the next thing we're going to do is make our way to the Undead Burg. This is where you're supposed to go right out there. Technically, I suppose you're supposed to go wherever you want, but to progress through the game, this is typically where you're going to want to go. So, we've got some dudes to take out. No real problem. Actually, I just remembered something that I completely forgot, so let's actually go get this. It's a very minor side trip. I should have actually grabbed this the first time as we were heading over to the catacombs, but no big deal. This is a very short side trip, and I'm sure a lot of people will actually find this very useful, actually, because this is actually, in my opinion, more helpful than the Drake sword is for the early game, and this is actually a weapon that can carry you through the entire game, unlike the Drake sword. So we're just gonna rush past these skeletons. If they kill me, it's no big deal because, I'm not losing too many souls. I mean, 3,000 is a bit much in the early, like at the very beginning, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a very low amount. I want to live just long enough to at least get the other weapon over here, which I don't typically use, but it's still nice to grab as many weapons as you can. That'd be the wing spear. So, you can use spears while blocking, so if you want to have a more defensive approach, you can have a spear equipped. I don't believe it does as much damage as most other weapons, but all the same, you get that extra defense, which I'm sure lots of people would find very helpful. Alright, actually, let me see if I can level up at all. I can, but I already got my dexterity up to 10, which is actually what I planned on increasing. So we don't want to get any higher than that for the way I want to set this character up. So now we can actually use that Zweihander that we just picked up. We have to use both hands to wield it effectively, but it's worth it for the amount of damage that we're going to be doing. Now, you'll notice that I'm not rolling as fast as I used to. I have a medium speed roll. The reason why we call it a medium speed roll is because there's actually three different roll speeds, and then there's a speed where you just can't even roll at all, which is when you're over encumbered. So yeah, before I was doing the fast roll, which it looks like this, pretty quick. Your guy doesn't really lose much momentum. Then you have the medium roll, where you'll notice that my guy spends more time on the ground before he's able to move. And maybe we'll get the chance to show you the fat roll later. Well, it's the heavy roll, but a lot of people call it the fat roll. We're going to try to lose a little bit of weight just so we can continue fast rolling, and we can, just like that. Now, my guy's going to be running around in his shirtless glory for the time being. But you'll notice these enemies get destroyed with this Zweihander, and it has a very wide swing arc, so if we get surrounded by enemies, we can destroy them all in one fell swoop for the most part. Ooh, didn't quite reach that guy, but it did strike the ground close enough to him that it staggered him, which is a nice little feature of some of the heavier weapons. Alright, so now we're making our way through Undead Burg. We're going to be getting to that first bonfire right over here. Well, not right over here, but it's just around a couple corners. And then we'll be able to, if we wanted to, we could kindle it. But I actually just realized we're still in human form from when we wanted to summon Paladin Leroy, so we actually run the risk of being invaded by somebody, in which case we would stand very little chance. And holy crap, that's a Drake, I believe. I think, isn't the difference between dragons and drakes that dragons have hands and drakes they just have their wings? I forget. I'm honestly not that sure. But I don't believe that it had hands, so I think that would be considered a drake. But yeah, he stopped by to say hi. Maybe we'll see more of him later. Right now, we're gonna rest at this bonfire. And since we're already in human form anyway, we might as well kindle this bonfire. The thing about kindling is you have to be in human form to do that. So, oh, the game had a little glitch actually. Your guy is supposed to stand up and put his hand on top of the... Actually, he didn't even kindle it. That was a weird little glitch. He didn't use his humanity. So, here's what he was supposed to do. Hold out his hand like that, and the fire becomes bigger. And now it will give me 10 Estus for resting at it. Just like the bonfires that have fire keepers at them. So this will allow us to heal more in case we F up some more. Since we got the right of kindling by killing Pinwheel down in the catacombs last episode, we can actually kindle it 2 more times, so it gives us 20 Estus. But that it feels ultimately that's going to be rather unnecessary, since for the most part I almost never run out of Estus. At least, you know, with 10. I'm sure I've run out of 5 Estus a bunch of times. Alright. Now, I'll make a little side trip in this little building here, because, oh, this guy wants to attack me. I'll just backstab. You can backstab enemies by getting behind them before swinging your weapon. And, you know, it's similar to how you would, like, when you parry somebody, they would be in a stunned state. All you gotta do is hit the attack button, and you would riposte them. Similar to that, all you have to do is be behind them, facing their back, run up against their back, and then hit the attack button, and you'll get a backstab like that. Now let's just hope we don't get invaded by anybody. And, you know, while we're here, I mean, since our health is a little bit low, I felt it was important to heal. Because you never know when you're going to get completely surrounded by enemies and just stunned to death and just get destroyed in one fell swoop. That is a danger in Dark Souls, getting just crowded by enemies and, you know, just being overwhelmed. Find some more souls, and we're just going to move on. Jump down here. Now, the reason why I made that side trip in the building earlier was actually to get those fire bombs, which will actually be useful later on for some of the shortcuts I wanted to do. And this is also very nice, this gold pine resin, because what that'll allow us to do is buff our weapon with lightning, which will be useful for some of the tougher enemies at the beginning of the game. Now, the thing with Dark Souls is you actually have to be observant and kind of acknowledge what might be ahead of you. Otherwise, you could fall into traps. And this is actually a perfect example. You'll see a guy up there with a barrel right in front of him. Now, there's multiple ways you can deal with this. You can try to shoot the guy with an arrow if you happen to have any, or you can kind of bait him into kicking the barrel and then hightail it out of here before it reaches you. Sorry if I'm spoiling these things for you, but this is an expert walkthrough, so I'm going to be telling you guys where a lot of the secrets are and what that. Now, this guy is pretty dangerous. He's a Black Knight, but with a couple parries and backstabs, we should be able to make short work of him with this really huge sword that we have here. We didn't manage to get the backstab, but that's just fine. We'll just parry him again. Get the riposte. Notice that I'm two-handing my weapon before getting the riposte, because I cannot one-hand this weapon effectively. You'll see my guy has trouble swinging it. And if I tried to parry him one-handed, I would do next to no damage. So I need to make sure that whenever I hit anything in any way, I'm two-handing my weapon. And just to explain why I can two-hand the weapon, you'll notice that I have 23 strength, but this weapon requires 24 strength to use. But if you're two-handing a weapon, you get a 50% bonus to strength. So say that you have 10 strength and you two-hand a weapon, it will treat it as if you have 15 strength. So I mean, I'm only 1 point away from being able to one-hand this weapon. But you know, if I had, say, 16 strength, 50% of 16, you know, is 8. Add that to 16, you got 24. So you can two-hand this weapon when you have 16 strength. Now there was we had somebody invade us because we're in human form. Right, so hopefully we might be able to get out of this one alive if we try to be clever, because I sincerely doubt that we'll be able to beat this guy with brute strength. So we're gonna have to try to maybe kick him off a cliff or something along those lines. Yes, he is using gear that you do get much later on, so I want to see if perhaps we can knock him off of the cliff here. We're gonna heal up. Here's hoping he doesn't have any sort of spells to try to knock me off from here. I hope he doesn't take too long either, because I do have a recording to do. Oh, he's actually over there. Okay, we're gonna try to dodge his magics. Make our way over here. We're gonna heal up. I'm starting to think that this guy... Actually, no, his magics weren't very strong, actually, so it's very believable that he is the inappropriate level. I'm gonna try to rush for a backstab. He has an unbelievably high amount of health for somebody at this point in the game, so I honestly think he might actually be hacking, considering he actually can't be much higher of a level than my character. We're gonna have to try to run back to another cliff. Yep. Well, that guy... I'm sure new players might not agree with me, maybe, but I'm sure once they get a feel for the game, they'll realize that that guy was actually a hacker. You can tell basically from his health alone, because I'm only level 19. He can't be any higher than level about 21, 22. He can't be any higher than that, but it's impossible to have his vitality as high as it was and still may be below that level, as well as be able to cast spells, which is unfortunate. PC is not filled to the brim with hackers, but you'll typically, if you're going to find hackers, it's going to be in lower level areas like this, because what they'll try to do is make it so their character's level is very low so they can invade low level players, and then they'll give themselves incredibly strong stats like that, which, you know, is pretty pathetic, really. I actually don't know why I made that side trip in the building, but, you know, that's why I just said I probably wasn't going to go hollow in the Burg. Now, you know, don't think that this game is riddled with, you know, hackers. It's actually not that bad. But, oh god. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said you can get overwhelmed. Yeah, but don't be thinking that the game is riddled with hackers. It's actually not too bad. It was just an unfortunate coincidence. But hey, you know, his name will be on YouTube. You can see, he can live in the shame that he's a filthy hacker on YouTube. Of course, I'm sure everybody cares. All the same, though, we won't be dealing with him again. And if I was on a higher level character, I'm actually very confident I could have beaten him anyway. As can be seen on my channel, which is a video we posted on. Oh god, these guys are just having their way with me again. There we go. If only I had poise, these guys would be much easier to handle. But anyway, yeah, as you can see on my channel, that, you know, you can easily go to since you're watching this video. I actually do have a couple of videos where, oh god, where I take out hackers. Which, you know, whenever I take one out, I always try to, if I happen to be recording, I'll always try to put it on YouTube because, you know, gotta shame them as much as you can. Guy keeps hiding behind his shield and then he gets his block broken, but that time he didn't. Now, remember, since this is an extra guide, I'm going to assume that most players are going to be wanting to do PvP, so I'm going to try to show everybody how to maximize their ability to play in PvP. So there's actually a boss on the side of this fog wall, but when you defeat a boss in an area, you can no longer be invaded in that area even when you're in human form. So we don't want to go to that boss. We want to try to avoid as many bosses as we can on our way to the end of the game. So when you first make your character, you can get an item called a master key. You get a list of items to choose from. One of them is a master key, which you're going to want to pick. Any expert player will tell you, pick the master key, because it will allow you a lot of shortcuts in the early part of the game. So we can go down here, and this will allow us to skip the boss, which is nice, but there is a rather difficult enemy down here. You can choose to try and run past him if you want, but we're going to be taking him on. And actually, let's save the gold python. I planned on using the gold python resin, but now we'll use it just to save time. Alright, so we're just going to jump down here. gonna let this guy attack us with this big slow weapon, and we're gonna go for a parry. Simple as pie. And the lightning's adding a good deal of damage. It adds damage to each hit. So, since this weapon hits twice, it actually adds the damage to both swings. Now, we're going to be doing a little trick where you just keep circling around him as he's getting up, and usually you can backstab them for a very long time. Sometimes they'll kind of fidget as they get up, so making it difficult for you to get another backstab. But for the most part, we're pretty much going to be destroying this. Oh, see, right there, he kind of fidgeted. And he almost got me there. This guy will kill you in one hit. He'll even kill a lot of high-level players in one hit. So the idea is just, he's got a big slow weapon. You gotta be careful. Try to make sure you dodge everything. And he drops his ring, which is actually a very nice ring. It does exactly what it says there. It boosts maximum equipment load. And since your roll speed is based on a percentage of your maximum equipment load, I can put back on a lot of my equipment and be able to fast roll still. Actually, nope, not with that helmet on, though. Without the helmet, we're just fine, though. Okay, so now my guy's not running around shirtless. Now we're going to be going through here. Now we're in a whole different area. Now we're in a great big forest. But we'll explore this area later, but for now, we're just going to start working on getting back to the Undead Parish/Burg area. But there's also a bonfire down here that we're going to rest at. That way, if we get killed, we won't have to run all the way back. Ooh, I failed a parry there. Oh. I probably should have mentioned, there's a Black Knight guarding this particular bonfire, so... But, you know, he's guarding a bonfire, so feel free to use as many Estus as you need on this guy, because you can get him back quite easily. In fact, if you actually run into the cave there, he won't follow you. There's something wrong with his pathing where he doesn't, know how to go into the cave. But we're just gonna take this guy out. 69 damage! Okay, now things are getting a bit dangerous. He's so low on health, too. But we got him. And he's also guarding this item down here, which is called the Grass Crest Shield. Now, this shield is a special shield. It doesn't block 100% of physical damage, but neither does my current shield. But it has a special side effect, where it will actually cause you to regenerate stamina as long as you have it on you. Now, I can no longer fast roll, but if I take off my gloves, perhaps I still can. I can, so since I can't one-hand this weapon just yet, well, actually, I will be able to as soon as I level up here, but since for the most part I'm going to be two-handing this weapon, it's nice to have this shield because it's going to be, you'll still get the stamina regeneration effect while it's on your back. Right, that's what that green ore is around me. It's me having that bonus to stamina regeneration. So we're going to make our way back up these cliffs here, and there's actually some items over here. They're not really that big of a deal, but I figure I'll grab them anyway, just so you'll know where they are. So you can go over here, jump off this cliff, and you'll find some leather armor, a longbow, and some arrows. Right, now let's head back up the mountain. Alright. That was another crystal lizard. The key with those crystal lizards is when you see one, you gotta try to kill them right away, because if you take too long, or if they see you, they'll start to run away and then they'll disappear. Fortunately, there is a trick where if they disappear, you can simply reload your game and they'll reappear. So you can stand right next to where you know they're going to be, reload their game, and just get them before they can run away. And if somehow you do manage to F up again, you can just reload your game again and keep trying. Right now, this is a really big guy right here. We could probably take him on, but there's a bonfire nearby that I would like to rest at, because, you know, then if he did kill us, you know, I won't have to run back to the forest again. I can just simply run right back out here and get him. That's a blacksmith. We'll talk about him in a minute. But, you know, they'll do obvious blacksmith things like upgrade your armor and weapons and stuff like that, but... So, now that we rested this bonfire, let's go back down there and fight that big stone guy. Because I'm sure we can take him on. Hey, yeah. I shouldn't do that. I gotta stop making a habit of doing little songs, especially when I'm gonna be posting to YouTube, because, you know, copyright claims. But I do 100 damage per swing. What a good solid number. Right, so hopefully the bonus to our stamina regeneration will pay off here. Ooh, he somehow got me with his tail. Did not realize that that attack would get me with the tail. I realize that some attacks will get you with the tail, but did not realize that particular one would hit. Now we gotta be super careful, because this guy will hit really hard. Not enough to one-shot us, but enough to be extremely dangerous, so we have to try to stay towards his back where he has a hard time hitting us, and try to successfully dodge all his attacks. And for those who haven't realized yet, oh, well, he's gonna hit us. Oh, he didn't. Anyway, for those who haven't realized yet, you actually have invulnerability frames for a portion of your roll. Ooh, that time he got us. But he's trying to do a really slow attack, which allowed us to have lots of time to escape. Ooh. Oh! I am very surprised at that first one to get me, but, you know, when he did, it stunned me for a moment, allowing him to hit me the second time. That caught me by surprise. Kind of funny. It's like people say, not streamer's curse, the YouTube curse. Whenever you try to record anything for YouTube, you actually play worse than you normally do. Oh well, we'll just get it. We'll have another crack at him. And he should be simple enough. I'll be more careful this time. I should really only swing once at a time, because I run completely out of stamina after 2 swings. So I should only swing one at a time, once, and then leave myself extra stamina in case I need to roll out really quick. So I'm gonna try to leave myself some extra stamina. Right, stunned him for a moment. Big weapons will stun creatures and other players more easily, which is definitely a benefit of those bigger weapons, even though they swing slower. They'll also typically do more damage. Let's also top off our health, because, you know, this guy can be very dangerous. These stairs are generally a relatively safe area to be, because he'll swing above you oftentimes if he's still above the stairs. Now, I feel comfortable swinging twice here because he was busy shooting that lightning bolt. Oh, I feel stuck. Whoa, and that's why it's a good thing that we capped out our health. I didn't think I would get caught on the corner of that sort of pillar, that broken pillar stand there, and I swung twice like an idiot, but we're fine. But, you know, I didn't think I would have gotten stuck on the corner of that pillar. It looked like there's enough space for me to get by, but there wasn't, so I took some stupid damage. Oh man, I shouldn't be fighting around all these, you know, broken pillars. They're really hindering my movement around this guy, making it harder to dodge. But that's him taken care of right there. So all these guys will drop a Demon Titanite, which is an upgrade material. Sometimes they'll even drop 2, and I believe there's only 1 in the game that you can farm. These guys will not respawn when you rest at a bonfire, which is actually something I completely overlooked on mentioning. Whenever you rest at a bonfire, almost every enemy in the game will respawn, with the exception being like bosses and mini-boss type characters like that. And with that, I think that would be a good point to stop the video, but let's just level up really quick. Alright, so next time we're probably going to be going backwards through the Undead Burg to get anything that we've missed, and you know, we'll see where it goes from there. I'll see you guys next time.